Today I want to talk to you about how you can control your impact and how you can get to where you have sort of predictable distance, maybe consistency in your shot shape, all that stuff based on the consistency of how you deliver the club face and ultimately what you end up getting out of the impact position to be able to have a predictable shot. You're a certain distance and you want to be able to hit a club that's going to go a certain distance. Well, one of the things that you got to do is you got to understand that the club face, when the club face is open or closed, you're adding or losing loft. And when you start to add or lose loft, all of a sudden that impact position looks very different. But what ends up happening to the golf ball is it takes a variety of different shapes and a variety of different start lines and launch angles. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to take this 6-iron. I'm going to grip the club face wide open. I'm going to swing way over to the left-hand side here, my pull side here, okay? And let's see what we end up getting. So I swung really far to the left-hand side. Now, I want you to come on up to the front first, and let's look at some of the information that comes out of this as we start to amend the impact, okay? First, club head speed there was about 82 miles an hour. That's not going to be off of my max by much. My max with a 6-iron, I'm probably going to swing at about 85 miles an hour, maybe 84 miles an hour. So this 82 is not that dramatically different. But the ball speed is going to be remarkably different. That one there is at 102. Ultimately, this 6-iron went 137 yards, stopped pretty close to where it landed. It launched at 23. There was a whole lot of things that were not great. But one of them, and what I want you to pay attention to specifically, is the side spin. That one there's almost 3,100 RPMs of side spin. What does 3,100 RPMs of side spin look like? Well, Gibbsy, pull the sim full. And what you can see there is a dramatic amount of curve. That ball starts right around the middle of the fairway at my target in the distance there. And then it spins basically to the right of the barrels. So that's a ton of curve out of a 6-iron. So imagine, and that 6-iron, this one here's got 30 degrees of loft. Imagine that with a driver. That thing is in the woods, in the water, out of the boundary line or off the property. You're going to have to hit it again. Now, I'm going to do this in a different way now, and I'm going to swing a closed club face this time. And you're going to see some real differences. We are probably going to get a similar club head speed. We are going to get dramatically different numbers on everything else. Launch angle is going to change. Distance is going to change. It's going to be dramatically different. Okay, so here we go. Club face is closed. Still a 6-iron here. And now we go. So club head speed there, 84 miles an hour. So pretty similar. One was 82, one's 84. But now let's look at these numbers. So this one here, the ball speed jumps up to 120. That's 20 miles an hour difference, roughly, okay? 20 miles an hour difference, what does that create in the distance? Well, the other one was like 137. This is 181 for 191. You can't play golf like that. The green depth is 30 yards, and you've got a dispersion of, 60 yards? You can't play that way. Now look at what happens. I was 23 on the launch angle with the 6-iron open face. This is 14 degrees. Spin rate comes down. That's 1,150 RPMs to the left. This is 4,000 RPMs of backspin. The other one had over 7,000 RPMs. There's all kinds of difference. Impossible. The impact position is totally different. And I'm talking about impact. I'm talking about what does this club face look like when it gets to the golf ball. So we have to control the club face. How do we do that? This is simple. So I have a mat. And this mat, bigger than a normal mat. You don't need a mat this big, but what you need is the mat to have a 90-degree angle, just like this, okay? So I'm going to put this down roughly on my toe line. And then I'm going to put a ball just in front of that mat, just on the top side. Now, what I want to image is that club face when it returns to that golf ball. I want the leading edge to be parallel to this mat. You're not perfect. You're not going to be perfect on this. What you're going to be is in the neighborhood. So if the face is a little bit closed or a little bit open, that's going to be fine, because what you're going to have now is a much tighter dispersion of shot, not just left to right, but also front to back. I can't play golf with a 60-yard difference between my shortest and my longest. I can't play golf that way. There's no way to have predictability. You don't have any idea of how far the ball's going to go. You don't have any confidence. And so we got to get consistency to get the confidence. So it starts with controlling that club face. So you get set up. Now all I want to do is I want to come back through this, and I want to almost take a little rehearsal of a practice swing and stop it in. I got this one from Johnny Miller. Just stop it in there and feel like it's relatively square. Now let's see what we get. Now all of a sudden, let's look at this particular shot. And first of all, Gibbsy, go pull that shot. When that shot comes up, pull it full so we can see the path and the shape of the shot. What you can see is that had a little bit of curve to it, but it's not off the grid kind of curve. In other words, that is a relatively straight shot for most of you. Now, come on up here and look at what we got. So I got 82 miles an hour of club head speed on that 6-iron. Not my fastest, a little guided, but the club face was relatively square. That one there only had about 783. Remember, the other time it had 3,000 RPMs to the right. This was 783. So I cut that by what? By 4? So it's 1/4 the amount of side spin there. And that golf ball now flew 161 for 162. That's a predictable thing. Not exactly what I want, but that's predictable. I can go out there and go, okay, you know what? My 6-iron goes between 160 and 180. That's 20 yards. The green is 30. I can play to the middle, and I can have confidence that I'm going to be able to get on the green. Try it again. And this is something that you can do in your house. You don't even need a golf ball. All you're doing is you're taking the club back and you're stopping it in here. What does that impact position look like? Body is rotating open. Club face is square. Very reliable and predictable shot. Here's another one. This one here is now a little bit to the left of where I want it to go. Let's go up to and let's look at our numbers again. So our numbers, I had 82 in the club head speed. This is 80. Had about 111, 112. I got about 111, 112. My total distance there, 163, 166. That's in my gap between 160 and 180. Gibbsy, pull that full. And what you can see there is that ball didn't have a lot of curve. Why? Because it only had 266 RPMs of right spin. So that shot there, while a pull, doesn't curve a lot. And when it doesn't curve a lot, now I have a chance to be on or around the green. And when you're on or around the green, you've got a chance to have a lower score. You're not dropping your ball because it's gone into a water hazard. You're not hitting it off the property if it's a driver. That right there, that shot right there, Gibbsy, pull it full again. That shot right there, that's an easy ball to chase. Do you have a birdie putt? Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe you have a chip. But what you don't have is a ball that is so far short of the green or so far over the green that you're having to take a sand wedge and make a half swing. It's a little chip shot you got. Let's try one more here. So get that mat, lay it down there, get that club face, stop that thing at impact, check and make sure that that club face is square, that leading edge is square. And now let's see if we can get that image again. This is a beautiful one there. This is a fabulous shot. Right at my target. Let's look at our numbers. And here are our numbers again. 163 for 165, 81 and a half, 112. Like, all these things are similar. This is all predictable. And once you have that predictability, now all of a sudden it's easy to play the game. Let's pull that shot full. And what do you see out of that shot? Not a lot of curve. 483 RPMs of curve. Not a lot of curve. Very easy to chase that golf ball around. So you want some consistency, you got to get your impact squared away. In order to get that impact squared away, you've got to make sure you get that leading edge squared impact. This mat will help you. Remember, go out there and practice. Do it at your house. Doesn't matter. Get over this. Rehearse. Stop that club face in there. Get a feeling of what it feels like to get that leading edge square. How's your body moving? And you're well on your way to improving that impact. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
To improve all parts of your game, subscribe to my channel and click the link below.